Yeah. Yeah, man. Another day wrapped up. Know what I'm talking about? Like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, homie. Another day wrapped up. Like Phil Collins say, another day in paradise. Oh, think twice. It's just another day for you and me in paradise. Oh, think twice. It's just another day for you and me in paradise. Yeah, baby. Come on, baby. Nigga singing Phil Collins. But yeah, man, I got rudely interrupted yesterday by the apparatus himself. I went live while I was on the yard about to park my truck. You know what I'm saying? I was pulling into my parking spot, but TikTok found that to be against the community guidelines. Now, I tried to appeal the situation because I felt like, hey man, I'm only parking the truck. I'm on my yard pulling into my parking spot, so I felt like they was too harsh on me. I felt they was really too harsh on me. But I guess that's how the game go. They don't want you operating a motor vehicle or any kind of transportation while you on their apparatus. I think that's pretty safe. What y'all think? I think that's pretty safe of TikTok not allowing people to go live on their app while they operating a motor vehicle. So look out, TikTok, look out. I ain't driving. You dig? I ain't driving, TikTok. But let me tell y'all a joke while we talking about driving. Once upon a time, there was this family going on a trip. It was a man and a woman, a boy and a girl, and they pet. They pet happened to be a monkey. And unfortunately, they got in an accident. And everybody descended on the help. They all went to the upper room. Everybody but the monkey. And so while the detectives was on the scene, they was wondering, how did all these people pass away? But the monkey was, the monkey didn't die. But unfortunately, everybody else was unalived. So the detective said, I just can't figure it out. I wonder what happened. And the monkey said, he said, what? The monkey said, he said, damn, look like the monkey trying to communicate. He said, can you talk, monkey? The monkey said, he said, hey, the monkey could talk. So he said, hey man, what happened in this accident? He said, what was the man doing and what was the woman doing? He said, what was the little boy and the little girl doing? He said, so you say the man and the woman was fussing and fighting. He said, the boy and the girl also was fussing and fighting over some device. He said, well, what were you doing? He said, come on, man. Say, man, I just had to break y'all off with that one. But look, yesterday I had a message. Yesterday I had a message before I was rudely interrupted, but I understand what's going on with the guidelines. The guidelines don't want you operating a motor vehicle. So let me say it again. I'm not the monkey doing this here. I ain't driving. I'm Cadillacing in the cold AC, minding my business, TikTok. Thank you for letting me be myself again. But I had a message I want to drop y'all before I go. First off, a lot of y'all been commenting on the video about Clemens, Texas. Clemens unit in Brazoria, Texas. A lot of y'all say y'all did time on that unit. So again, I want to offer y'all the extension and the invitation. If you like to do a virtual interview, you got to give the gab. You got an interesting story. Holler at your dog. And let's work. Now, I conduct my interviews mostly on YouTube. But as we build up the community here on TikTok, we're going to do the same. So what I would ask you to do is to go on over on YouTube and subscribe to my channel. The channel is He's a Leo, just like the name on TikTok. Also, if you follow me on TikTok, I will follow you back. So after this live is over, if you hit the follow and follow me on TikTok, I'm going to see the notification. I'm going to go to your channel or your page or whatever you call this apparatus device, and I'm going to show some love back and do the same. But in the meanwhile, in the meantime, go to YouTube and subscribe to that same name that you see up at the top. He's a Leo. Now to the second message, which is my last message. I was saying yesterday, when we're younger and immature individuals, and even some older individuals, we like to play the game of what you call short con. It's like being a con artist or playing a con game. So we play the short con. What's the short con, He's elite? The short con is when you set up a play and you're going to meet the means to the ends within minutes, hours, days, or weeks. It could be months. It even could be a year. But that's a long con if you start to go months and years. But the thing about it is this. When you don't have real responsibilities, people to look after outside yourself, that temporary shit, it may fly. Doing it temporary, it may work for you. But once you grow up, and part of growing up is being a responsible individual, you start to realize that it's more people riding on your existence instead of just yourself. Especially men and women that now have offspring, that now have children. Because back in the day, we all were children and we thought as children. So we didn't have nobody to look after but ourselves. But it comes a time where you mature. You start to acquire assets, personal relationships that may break off into a family. And now you got children of your own. So that means you can no longer be inconsistent. You can no longer make temporary moves. You no longer can play the short con game. Now, every move you make has to be an installment pertaining to longevity. Let's say that word, boys and girls, men and women, longevity. The short con game is over. Now, it's going to be temporary hustles and different things you run into where you might participate. But what I would like for you to consider is this. How will it hinder your household if you wasn't around? That's what, but before you make any decision about any participation that you're going to be involved with, will your participation remove you from your household? And if it does, how will your offspring, your man or your woman, survive without your participation or your leadership? I don't want to be called anything outside of being a man. Don't call me a thug. Don't call me a gangster or a G or a gang member or anything of that nature. Just call me a man at the end of the day. Because a man feels some kind of way when he's not in his position of protection, his position of providing, his position of leading, his position of putting down and setting rules. A lot of people don't like a man's presence because they know at some point in time, a man ain't just going to let anything and everything fly. And that's what's really the part of being a man. Knowing when to put your foot down and say, hey, all this here and all that there, that ain't going to go. And you say that and you mean that and you assert yourself. Now, once you do that, everybody may feel upset. They might not agree. But at the same time, a man is always thinking of people other than himself. That's what you have to know, individuals. Anybody with ears on the side of their chicken McNugget head. A man is always considering people outside of himself. So his choices, his decisions, how he moves, it affects everybody directly connected to him. So he must think with all those counterparts in mind. That's when you're being a responsible man. Now, a selfish little boy don't give a damn about nobody but himself. And it'll show in his choices. It'll show in his decisions. If he have children at home to take care of and he goes and do some dumb shit and he wind up in the dumb position sitting in a dumb jail cell that ain't gonna benefit nobody but the state, he didn't make that decision upon thinking about the people at home. And he made that decision upon the short con. It's time to grow up, individuals, and let the short con go. Let's say the word again. Longevity. 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 You see, when I was doing my music and everything, I used to hear an old person always tell me the same thing. When you gonna blow up? They were only watching to see what they thought in their mind was compiled of blowing up. They only wanted to see in their mind of what it looked like for me to be successful and blow up. But what they never noticed was they asked me this year after year after year after year. During these years, I considered myself very successful. Reason being, I was doing something that I loved, and I had more coming in than I had going out. And I also had the keys to multiple vehicles. And I had a roof over my head. It wasn't a palace. It wasn't a mansion, but it was paid for. And I can go here, there, and everywhere and return and not worry about being evicted. I had money in my pocket. I was known. I was respected. I traveled state to state, city to city, squeezing on and pinching on. You know what I'm talking about? But here they come again the next year. Hey, when you gonna blow up? They only was trying to gauge my success, what was inside of their mind and thoughts and their vision of me now being successful. They didn't consider 15 years I did what I wanted to do, how I wanted to do it, when I wanted to do it, and I stayed looking sharp and clean when I popped up on the scene. Monogram clothes, J's on my toes, white and black and yellow, and sometime green O's. Come on, babe, put an H on it, 304. But I wasn't pimping, I was rapping. And when I was rapping, I only was rapping. I wasn't trapping, I wasn't drilling, spilling, or with the K on it. I was doing some rap, and I was pushing rap. But here they go again the next year. When you gonna blow up? Well, obviously, you don't know what success is. Anybody can give you a perception of a successful situation. I can go home right now and get my Cadillac and put on my monogram clothes and put on all my jewelry, which is not much these days because I don't buy too much jewelry. And I can get clean as the board of health and come outside and cock my hat to the side and get me a water, that green stuff like this here, and go to the mall somewhere and put on a swanky attitude. Add a little swagger to my jagger, sharp as a knife or a dagger. Your perception will say, hey, he may be a successful man. But everybody's perception is not reality. Everybody's perception is not reality. It's your personal perception, which is your personal reality. You see what I'm saying? Now, outside of knowing what success is and what money look like, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I got friends that are successful. I got friends that are very successful. Then I got friends that's beyond being very successful. They are extremely and well successfully blessed. You see? Where do I fall on that? I don't know. I'm trying to cling on to some nigga coattail and drag myself on up. No, come on, man. I'm stepping up the ladder the way it's planned for me as a man. You hear me? But at the same time, I know what success is and I know what it look like. So I don't fall for the tight jeans, the jewelry, the cars, the big stacks of money that maybe sometime all a person has in life. We did that in high school. You hear me? We did that in high school. We put on our bestest clothes and we got our re-up money and every piece of money that we had and we put it in a big old knot and we pulled it out at the snack line. Because we was trying to invite them girls to think that we was on like Donkey Kong and then we were trying to make them boys feel some kind of way because we know that they was broke. But in reality, that was 3, 4, 5 players' money inside of that stack of money. That was the other dude money, a little bit of my money, and my homeboy money. And if I paid anybody I owed, I wouldn't have no money. Hey, you see what I'm saying? But what I'd like to say to close is this. You might could play the short con game briefly. But once you reach a certain age with a certain level of responsibility, you have to start thinking that word again, longevity. You have to start thinking about longevity. Because young men and women and individuals who do not understand the way this world works, every 30 days, them people want their money. Who's them people? Bill collectors. Now, some of you looking at me saying this is some ABC average game that he's dropping. But I'm here to tell you that it's a whole lot of individuals have no clue of how the system work and how to survive outside of being locked up where they ain't got no responsibility. See, when a nigga locked up, he ain't got to worry about what he gonna eat or where he gonna sleep. When a nigga locked up, he ain't got to worry about paying no bills every 30 days. When a nigga locked up, he locked up. Everything he got to worry about is being handed to him. But when you out here standing on it with 10 toes like a grown man taking care of business every 30 days, you need a budget that exceed your outgoing expenses every 30 days. If you call yourself a man or a woman, if you can't meet that criteria every 30 days, maybe you're not a man and maybe you're not a woman. Maybe you're somebody's boy and you're somebody's gal. You make the choice on who you want to be. I ain't come to preach now. You know what I'm saying? I ain't come to do no preaching. I just come to fool with you because I'm cool with you. I think I'm figuring out what to do with you. I got to go. Now, do me a favor. Go ahead and follow me right now. Follow me, boy, and I'll follow you back here on TikTok. And go ahead over there to YT, that's YouTube. Subscribe over there, and I'll subscribe over there to you, too. We'll keep up with each other and keep things going. Thank you, too. Thank you, too. Yeah. That's what it is, man. I'm going to follow you back. But right now, I'm going to get up out this truck. Because guess what? I just took care of GMB. What's that grown man business? I'm gone.